find true success and happiness if you have only one goal. There really is only one, and that is this: to fulfill the highest, most truthful expression of yourself as a human being. You want to max out your humanity by using your energy to lift yourself up, your family, and the people around you. Theologian Howard Thurman said it best. He said, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive."
Good morning, chosen ones. I just thought that Oprah video was too good. We had to watch it again. Welcome back. Welcome to VIP Day. This is going to be a fun day here. We have some really good Q&A that we're going to get into here right away. And then we have the most awesome thing to tell you about a little later on. So I'll let Kathleen do all that. Kathleen, get up here. Where are you?
I am right here.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Hello.
How is everybody today? Doing good? I had the most beautiful night last night. I had dinner on a rooftop patio in Toronto, and I had Lake Ontario on one side and the CN Tower on the other side, the sun setting. It was just so beautiful, and had some really fun like sushi, which is so new for me because I don't try new things, but I ate new things. It was really, really good. And then of course, this morning I had a beautiful walk. I walk every single morning without fail. And this walk this morning, whoa, like there is synchronicity happening, the energy around this event, this launch that we're going to do later today. The universe really speaks to me in many different ways. And she was speaking to me today at like the hotel I'm at right now in Toronto. The address is 111. Like 111. And then when I get in the car to head down here yesterday, it was 111 kilometer drive. And then I see that and I'm like, oh, it's 111 kilometers. I take a picture. I don't know why I have to take a picture, but I just do. And then a couple of minutes later, it's 1:11 p.m. And I'm like, oh, I gotta take a picture. I get here and it's 111 is the address. So there's just so many things. And then along the walk this morning, I looked down, and spray painted on the pathway is just the letters B-E, B with an underline. I'm like, oh, this is so good. So it has been a beautiful week, beautiful couple of days. That event was phenomenal. And the events that we do are not just, me and Tommy up here. It's not just the team up here. It's everybody that joins that creates the combined energy. So the events are only as good as the people that we have on them. So the fact that it was such a good event, and you guys made me cry, so it was really good. When I end up tearing up, I'm really, really in spirit. So it was beautiful. So I just want to thank you all for that. This morning, what we're going to do, we're going to get out of here for noon. So it's a Saturday and it's a sunny, beautiful day. So we want to make sure that you're out there enjoying and being present. But what we're going to do is we're going to do Q&A this morning, first thing, so that we have an opportunity to answer some questions related to the training last week. If you have questions about programs or anything like that, certainly we can answer that. Then we are bringing up two people for an interview. They are private clients of mine. And they're a beautiful example of a family creating a legacy. So I really wanted to have them come on today to give you some inspiration. And then we're going to share something really fun and talk about the new program that we are officially launching today with the universe's guidance. So super, super fun. Stay tuned. But we will try to get out of here for 12 o'clock. So Tommy, what's the instructions if they want to ask a question?
Okay, so if you want to put your questions in the chat, put a big Q before your question so we can find it easily. If you would like to come and ask your question live, you can go ahead and virtually raise your hand and we'll bring you on live. So there's some little instructions on how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, and if you're on a mobile device, you might have to click the More button to find the raise hand button. If you're on a computer, it'll be down there under the Reactions button. Okay.
Now, there was one question that came in, and I remember seeing it during the live feed the past 2 days. So I want to speak to it because I thought it was a brilliant question. We just didn't have time to totally go into it. So somebody asked the question about the end result. What does that mean? So I actually have a lesson that I've titled this in the new program. So I love that this question came up. It's not by accident. And I think the question really came around, what does it mean to live from the end result? So the end result language that comes from one of the best authors in manifestation, Neville Goddard. And he is honestly can be a little bit complex to understand if you're new to manifestation, but once you raise your awareness just a little bit, it's like all of a sudden he clicks and it makes all the sense in the world. So end result is the language that Neville uses to describe the destination that you are projecting yourself to, or the destination you wish to match. The identity, so to speak, the feeling, so to speak, of where you want to be. So we may say, in past, you might have heard this as your goal or your vision. Some people will say it like your future life or your dream life or whatever you want to call it. The end result is really a beautiful way of naming it because it's the end of how far you can see right now. It's not the end result and it's not where you're going to end, but it's just the end of where your vision will allow you to go right now. So my end result that I was focused on matching used to be somewhere that I was maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. But as you continue to grow, as you continue to expand, the end result just moves and it just shifts. And this is what growth is. This is expansion. You're always expanding what's available to you, the possibilities, what you love. And the end result is a moving thing. It's not something that has to be set in stone. So today I might want a condo overlooking the ocean in Miami. However, in 6 months from now, I might decide it's Mexico. We don't have to be tied to the exact thing, but it's the feeling. So it's the feeling around the oceanfront property in Mexico or in Miami. It's the same feeling no matter the destination, if that makes sense. It's also the same, I'm being the same person either way. How do I see myself as someone who owns a second, third, fourth property over the ocean that I go to whenever I feel like it? That's the difference. So the end result is really, really powerful because you want to tap in to the feeling of that wish fulfilled. And when you tap into the feeling of that wish fulfilled is when you're doing a psychological leap forward. Psychological leap forward. So what does that mean? You're doing it in your mind. You're leaping forward in your mind. And when you leap forward in your mind and you feel the feeling of that leap, it changes the molecular structure that you are in right now. It changes your vibration. So the psychological leap forward changes you physically in this moment right now. It makes you feel like the version of you that has the condo overlooking Miami or Mexico. You feel the gratitude, you feel the joy, you feel the love, you feel the excitement, you feel the pride. And then guess what? Immediately you're different. Immediately you're thinking different thoughts. You're having different feelings. You're attracting different things to you. You are meeting new people. You're having intuitive hits based on the version of you that has the condo overlooking the ocean. And so then what happens is the bridge of incidents unfolds. So that language is also Neville. Bridge of incidents. The universe aligns, some people will say. I love the bridge of incidents because it makes absolute sense to me then that it is a bridge from the psychological leap forward into the physical world. Most people are trying to build a bridge in the 3D world only. So you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm building a bridge here. but I'm building a bridge from up here. I'm up in the fourth dimension, which is my imagination. I'm psychologically creating the version of myself, and the bridge of incidence is unfolding into the physical. Thoughts become things. This is exactly what we're talking about. So you can use any language that you desire. The idea of a quantum leap, I love so much. I actually am reading The Slight Edge right now, and I can't remember his name. I think Jeff Olson. Great book. But he says quantum leaps are not possible. They don't happen. It's not true. It's a myth. It's a facade. And I'm like, I'm so sorry you believe that, sir. I'm really sorry about that. I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't believe they're true. They can't happen. Because I've experienced it myself, and I've seen so many people experience it over and over and over again. A quantum leap is your choice, your decision, and your perception of such. And so a quantum leap doesn't necessarily mean financially. It can also mean emotionally. It can mean physically. It can mean you've leaped from a place in your life where you were unhappy to a place now where you're so happy with your life, you have no idea that you ever weren't happy. Like, how could I possibly have not have been? So to me, a quantum leap is not, some people will say that a quantum leap is when you go into your imagination, you visualize, and you're leaping. Yeah, okay. But a true quantum leap happens when your experience of today changes. So if today has not changed, the way you see today, the way you're experiencing today, how life is treating you and you're treating life, there's no more success in your business, there's no more money, there's no gain in happiness. Have you quantum leaped? I would say it's not in the physical yet. But the law of the perpetual transmutation of energy says any image held on the screen of the mind will manifest into the physical form by law. By law. So this means that if I stay on this path and I do not get off it, I will reach my destination. And so even if you're looking ahead on that path and you cannot see ahead of you, there's a curve. You don't know what's coming up around that curve. You have to have faith and trust that you're just going to keep going and not stop at the curve and say, it doesn't look like it's taking me there. I'm just going to stop. You're just going to keep going. You're going to keep taking the trail because it will get there. How does God and spirituality fit into these teachings, especially if you're a Christian? Great question, Connie. So I don't want to talk about religion because religion is something that humans have decided that we are Christian, we're Presbyterian, we're this, we're that. So I don't want to go into the different types of religions, but what I will say is spirituality to me is connecting with spirit. It's connecting with our source, our creator, and there is no manifestation without that connection. And the way that I see it is that it is oneness with our creator and not separatism. So I am not separate from God, from universe, from creator, from source. I am created from and am one with. So the things that I desire to create in the physical world today are being created through me. And I have the same creative mechanism. So I love so much. I could talk about this for hours. We could bring Angie up and talk about it, but I don't think we have the time today. But this conversation is so much deeper. But my life quantum leaped itself the moment that I became one with God. And so I'll just leave it at that for now before we go too much deeper, but absolutely with God. Yeah, so good. Okay.
Kathleen, there was a question earlier from Poppy that I think would be good. Can I read it to you?
Yes, please.
She said, how do you anchor yourself into your new thought pattern throughout the day? Because I heard you say yesterday that you ask yourself a lot of fun questions, for example, about the CEO energy. I noticed that there are moments of unawareness of this until I get into bed and I'm like, I wish I had tapped more into my source, or I wish I focused more on being present and worked with the law of attraction.
This is so beautiful, Poppy. And Poppy has the most beautiful art. So I would highly suggest, maybe Poppy, you can put the name of your Instagram account in the chat here. The most beautiful art. You've got to see it. It's so unique. I've never seen anything like it. But what I love about this so much is that what we're doing is we're taking something that has been automatic, that has been happening without us really noticing it, unconscious, so you will, habitual thinking. And we're making a conscious decision. So we're bringing it up using the conscious mind to change it so that it then becomes habitual. So it's like bringing it up, raising it out, being consciously aware, and then making it the new pattern. So what's going to happen is when you lay in bed at night, what you just said is so good, because you lay in bed at night and you say, what was my dominant feeling today? What were my dominant thoughts today? Who did I show up as the most today? And then you can do two things. So we're not going to get upset about it. We're not going to judge it. We're not going to say, I should have done this. I should have done that. We're going to revise the day, first of all. So you could go back to some of those moments, Poppy, where you were like, ooh, I could have thought this way instead of that way, and visualize yourself thinking the new thoughts. And if you responded to somebody in a way that later on you feel, you know what, that really wasn't in alignment with my highest self. Like maybe you got a bit upset at somebody. You took something a bit personal, you reflect as you're laying in bed at night and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm noticing that. That's so good. I noticed that I didn't behave in a way that I'd like to. So visualize yourself responding in the way you want. So maybe instead of getting upset and being reactive and taking it personal, that you step back and you say, what an interesting perspective you have. I'd love to learn more about that. Or maybe it's interesting perspective. Tell me more. Because if you dig a little bit deeper, you realize it's about them, not you. And then ask yourself, is this thing that I'm upset about really about me? Oftentimes it's not at all. It's about them. So you can revise the day. And then the next thing then, though, is the next day. You now have a new awareness. You have a new learning of how I can approach tomorrow differently. And when you start thinking consciously like the new version of you, the more you do it, the more it becomes habitual. And so I still ask myself those questions, but I pay attention to my reactions to life. How you react to life happening around you tells you how your thoughts are, what your feelings are like, and what your behavior's like. The dramas of life are a psychological one. Dramas of life are a psychological one. How is there some families that never, ever, 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 ever fight? And other families that fight all the time, constantly. There's a couple movies out there about like these family dinners where they always fight and there's so much family drama. What is that? It is all to do with our thoughts, our perceptions, our reactions to life. And the thing of it is that oftentimes we don't realize we're part of the drama. We're like, oh my God, my family is so dramatic. They're always fighting. They're always causing problems. But if we take a step back, like we're part of it. We're absolutely part of it. And we partake in it. And it's just habitual. Yeah. It's all learned behavior, right? So, everybody's loving Poppy's art. Oh, I'm so glad. That makes me so happy. And Poppy, where do you live? Can you let them know where you live? It's somewhere so far away from me. It's like the Netherlands, I think. Is it? Anyway, she can let us know. Beautiful. Okay, I hope I answered that question. I think that's good. Do we have another one?
Yes, sorry. I'm trying to get the Zoom link into the Facebook group because some people don't have it. Let's see. Anne put a question in here. Anne says, when waiting for Source to support me in my desire to coach with you. Okay, sorry. When waiting for Source to support me in my desire to coach with you outside of continuing to work on my feeling state, what would you recommend in the waiting to work on myself? read, meditate, etc.? What else can I do to make a big impact on myself?
Oh my gosh. Well, the first thing is go to the spiritual side, right? So am I spiritually connected? Am I spiritually sound? So am I meditating? Am I visualizing? Am I feeling my oneness with spirit, my oneness with nature? Am I really, really in the spirit of my vision, my purpose? Do I feel chosen? Then I go down into the intellectual plane. Am I doing all the things intellectually that I know will attract to me the things that I desire? So am I thinking like the end result? Am I feeling like the person at the end result? Am I a vibrational match? So paying attention to your dominant feelings, the purity of mind that you have. And this is where you really ask yourself, am I walking in faith? Because if you're walking in faith, you cannot see what's ahead of you, but you absolutely know that it's all going to happen the way you want. Or if you're walking by sight, you're waiting to see it. It's like, is it there? Is it there? Is it there? You're looking for visual confirmation. You're looking for the evidence. And the evidence, you can't always see it because the bridge of incidents is unfolding. Then I go into the physical 3D world and ask myself, am I doing the actions that are required? For example, I have had people who are like, well, I'm going to launch my coaching business, blah, 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 on this day. And let's say it's 3 months from now, I'm going to launch my coaching business in 3 months from now. So I'm going to spend the next 3 months building my courses and programs, making sure I have a website and a landing page, etc. Okay, great. But how can we take that a step further? And how can you behave like the coach now? So you show up as a coach already in everything you do. You're posting every single day to social media. You're sharing your aha moments, your favorite material. You're giving value. You're maybe going live. You're growing your following online, because in 3 months, when you launch your business, you're going to want to have a bit of a following. You're going to want to have some engagement, some relationships built online. So are you in action the way that your future self would be in action? Are you meeting people in groups? So it really is operating on all three planes in the wholeness of you. And if things aren't showing up for you, oftentimes there's something in there that just isn't being focused on or paid attention to. And so for some people, they're really, really far into the mechanical and the masculine, that the action piece isn't the problem. They're posting to social media every day. They're in conversations with people. They're doing this, they're doing that, but then they're not reading every day. They're not changing their thought patterns at all. They're the same old version of themselves, just doing new behavior, which we know now is not the key. It's the other way around. You can do the same behavior with a new version of you. And then we have the other people that are all spirit, all intellectual mind, all thoughts and mindset, and don't take action. So this is what I mean by like the wholeness. And this is a lot of the inspiration for this new program we're going to talk about in a few minutes, because I really want to be a part of creating that wholeness and understanding that wholeness, and not just one part. We don't want to break apart everything. We want it to be a culmination of the whole. Yeah. Good question. What are all three planes of life? The spiritual, the intellectual, the physical. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have any suggestion to feel more what is not there when reality it's so far away that it seems impossible? So time is actually not really real. We came up with it. We categorized it. We decided that it's something, and then we made it something that makes things really hard. It makes things feel really hard. And so oftentimes what we do too is that we see something that we would like and we push it out into the future and we keep it there. It's hard, it's big, it's going to take a long time to happen. It's like climbing a mountain. How is this ever going to happen? And the only issue there is your belief of it. That's it. Your belief of it determines how quickly you bring it into this physical 3D world. If you do not believe it's possible, if you believe it's going to take a long time, if you believe that it's going to be climbing up a mountain, then that's what you're asking for. Those are your assumptions. Those are your beliefs around the journey. So this is like, for me, I wanted to create $1 million business. I was making $100,000 a year. I think I was making $97,000 a year as a director in healthcare. Very, very high level executive position, pension and benefits, but I worked hard. I worked a lot, and it was very, very high stress. But I wanted to make $1 million in a year. That's like 10 times what I was doing. And I remember when I thought it was impossible. But the more I visualized it and felt the feeling of it, the more real it felt. The more I spent time with people who had done it, the more real it felt. So this is the thing with spending time with me now, is that you get to be next to someone and alongside somebody, and several people now in this community and on my team who have done that and who have experienced it. And it becomes evidence right alongside you. And so it allows you to sync up to the energy that we're in, which is really powerful. But your own inner work is going to be your visualizations. And the feeling is the secret. Just because you've never experienced something in the 3D physical world does not mean that you haven't experienced it. Right? So this is what our dreams are for. This is what our imagination is for, is to experience it. So I've never been to Thailand, but I can go to Thailand in my mind right now, and I can feel it, and I can experience it, and I can absolutely love it. And I can feel what it feels like to have it. And it was the same thing with being a millionaire. I had to accept the identity of being a millionaire first before the millions came. If you're sitting here thinking I'll never be a millionaire, and you might not be thinking I'll never be a millionaire, but when I say that I decided to believe that I was a millionaire, there's a feeling within you about you and the possibility of that for you. There is a subconscious belief inside of you that is either saying, yes, I love this, I'm next, or it's not me, not possible. It's tapping into what your body is telling you, what your beliefs are telling you, what that vibration is telling you, and then switching it. Yeah. Gratitude is honestly, gratitude in my visualizations is the most powerful thing. Because if you're visualizing something and then you ask yourself, what am I grateful for? Immediately you've emotionally connected with that thing. And the more that you emotionally connect to it, the more you will believe it. I remember I was working with one of my one-on-one clients last year, and I think she had done maybe like close to a $10,000 a month. And we said, okay, so what would be a goal that would be past 10,000 that you don't believe right now is possible, but that isn't too well and out crazy? And so we decided 30,000 a month. And she said, okay, so the goal is 30,000 a month. I said, yes. And she said, okay, now what do I do differently to have a $30,000 a month? And I said, don't do anything you're doing. Don't change your activity. Don't change the way you do your business. Don't change your strategy. Go in here. I want you to visualize it. All we're doing is working on the belief of a $30,000 a month. That is it. Don't do anything else. Just work on your belief. And so we spoke the next week, and she said, because that day when we spoke, she's like, I do not believe it. No way. I don't believe it. Maybe in a year. And I said, but do you want it in a year? She said, no, I want it like next month. And I said, okay, so we're going to work on the belief. So she didn't believe it. The next call, she said, you know what? I'm starting to maybe think it's possible. And I was like, okay, keep going. So we spoke a week later. She's like, I believe it. It's done. It's coming. And I said, there you go. And then she had a $38,000 a month. I mean, it was 28,000, but close enough. Energetically, that's 30. So it can be that simple if we allow it to be fun like that. No pressure. What if you could have 30? What if you felt it and you loved it and you fell in love with it and it fell in love with you? and it came to you because you were asking for it. Amazing. Wouldn't that be so much fun? But if it didn't, if it doesn't, it eventually will, and I'll be just as happy for it if it takes a little bit longer. That's the energy I'm in. Right. Love that.
Got a couple of hands up.
Oh, let's do it.
Heather, do you have a question still?
Oh, I do.
Awesome. Fire away. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, what's your question?
So my question is that, like, can you recommend like ways to let go of all of my past shouldas? I would have been at a different place if I had done this 10 years ago, if I had done that 10 years ago, if I had made different decisions. And that's where I'm at right now, is like just trying to let go of all the past shoulda, woulda, couldas.
Have you read Michael Singer?
No.
Have you read any? Okay. Michael Singer has a new book that came out called Living Untethered. And what I love so much in that book is that he talks about how our future, oh, Deborah has it right in front of her. Our future is tied so much to our past because we are tethered to the past. So Joe Dispenza, I love how Joe Dispenza talks about this. He talks about most people are living in the present past. But if you want to create something new in your life, you have to live from the present future, no longer from the past. So what this means is, and something that has helped me so much, Heather, is I ask myself, where does the reality that I'm looking at exist? So this reality that you're talking about, where I should have done this sooner, if I had done this in my career early enough, I should have made that decision, I shouldn't have married that guy, or I shouldn't have started this business and lost this money, where does all of that exist? It only exists in your memory of it. If you lost your memory tomorrow, you would have no idea that any of that ever happened. And you would start today as a fresh, inspired, fired up person that was like setting out on your path for the first time. And so I always remind myself that whatever happened in the past has absolutely no bearing on what happens in the future unless you allow it. So you can look at the decisions that you've made in the past and you could say, oh, you know what's really cool? That business that I lost a lot of money in, that taught me not to go into business with a partner. Now I know I want to be in a business by myself. I want to be the sole 100% owner of that company. So then you're using the past for good. But most of the time we don't. We use the past to then create our future. And that past, we also use it to define who we are. Yeah. So the business that failed, you then decide you're a failure. When you're not a failure because you've had a failed business. You're persistent and you're a winner because you're starting a new one. Because you know what you want. So you're doing it again, So honestly, it's about moving yourself forward and not focusing on those things, not allowing those things to define you. And if you could start right now with a brand new identity, who would Heather be? Like, what would be the thing that propels you forward instead of holds you back? Some self-image work would be real good, Heather.
Can I just say something too, real quick?
Yeah, please.
Heather, I so appreciate your question. I know that both for Kathleen and myself and a lot of successful people that are here, we've had to face the same question you're asking right now. We have, and we've had to learn to build a habit. Like, the things that are happening in our life is because of an awareness of, you're asking the right question. And, it's a habit of learning to let go. It's a habit of, one of the things that I really appreciate how Kathleen defined, even for, defined really, really well in one of her programs that really made an impact on me, is just the idea, and I was doing it without really understanding that I was doing it, which was letting go of something to embrace something new. And that seems really simple, like when she was talking about a quantum leap, how that guy said the quantum leap, This is what a quantum leap is like, is when you become aware and you make the practice of it. And then all of a sudden you're able to bless and release quicker, quicker, quicker. And it's a habit. And that's why I really appreciate this environment that we have here, is the questions that you're asking, we've asked ourselves. Every question that's in here, I'm looking at that going, yeah, over the last few years, yeah, I've learned about that. Yeah, I've learned about that. And it's just the habit of giving yourself the opportunity, the platform to come in and say, you know what, I'd really like to ask these questions about myself. And I think they're brilliant that you're asking them, but there is a way for every person. You're not alone. You're not alone. It isn't unique to you. I know it sounds terrible. It's not unique to you. It's something that I think every great leader has to ask themselves. And you're asking it at the perfect time.
And it's so beautiful too. There's a question here from Allison that I think, Heather, goes along with this one. How do you share aspects of your past to inspire without identifying as the victim of your past? So there is a moment in time, Heather, where, let's say, whatever business path you're on right now becomes highly, highly successful. And you quantum leap yourself forward and you're living in this place of just absolute gratitude. You immediately look on those past things differently. Because right now you're looking at the past things through today's lens. So today is saying, well, I'm not achieving what I wanted, so I'm going to go back to the past and they're going to bother me. But when you're coming from your past in a different place where you've released it, you've surrendered, you've let it go, you've fulfilled whatever it is that you desire, you look back on it differently. The perception of it is different. So, for example, I talk a lot about my past and, the hatred that I had for my body. I did have postpartum depression with my daughter and had many, many suicidal thoughts for a period, and was actually thinking about how I would go through with those things. And so I talk about those things as a past version of me, because I don't believe that I am her anymore. I believe that I've gone past, I've expanded. So when I talk about my past, I'm not tethered to it anymore. I've untethered myself from it. It doesn't define me. And so you can talk about some really traumatic things that have happened to you in your life, and they no longer drag you back down to that moment again because you've untethered yourself from it. So it does require some work, what Angie was talking about, but it's absolutely possible. It's good awareness. Yeah, great question, Heather. Thank you.
Thanks, Heather. We got another hand up here, Christina. Hey, Christina.
Hi, Tommy. Thanks for taking my call. And Kathleen, thank you so much for this. I actually want to go now forward. And it was really a great question that Heather asked. But my question is, I'm also a nurse. And when I got into this personal development space through Bob Proctor, listening to him, the only thing I knew, I was not in the right place. So I quit on Friday, the 13th of December, 2019, going forward, I'll figure out how I'm going to do it moving forward. But here I am now. I'm doing personal development. It's been in the personal development space. I did through PGI 13 months, heard about you, saw you in that during one of the interviews, which was just amazing. And it is my first live event with you, which is great. And I'm so excited to be here. But my question is, I've been so much into it, and I'm like a horse smelling stable, meaning I know I want to do something. I just don't know what. It's like, do I want to do coaching? I started going into home health nursing also a little bit. I found some things that I want to do. And there's so much things that I want to do, because I'm 52 and I feel I don't want to go into another picking up a career, make a career move, and I'm doing the wrong thing. But I want to share this information. I love it. I share it with my friends, but I want to do something. And again, I've got 4 avenues that's coming up that I think I want to do that, but I want to do the right thing. I don't want to go into a new career move, potentially doing the wrong thing. How do I know what is the right thing? Is it better for me just to continue absorbing this information and until I for sure know what I want to do? Or do I just what do I do?
You know, it's so interesting because you're in your intellectual mind. So the intellectual mind is going to want to rationalize, justify, compare. So the intellectual mind is going to do like the pros and cons. So option A gets me here. Option B is this. Option C will be successful if I do this. Option D, this. So you're comparing all the different options. I want you to step back from the different ways in which you fulfill the mission and look at what the mission is in itself. So the end result, you inspiring people through this information, right? In whatever way that means. What would be your ideal end result? So for me, how I see it is that the end result is done, it's complete, creation is finished. You just get to choose the path you want to take to get there. And how do you know the right one is? It's the one you want to do. So it's just about letting go of the intellectual mind that's going to compare and justify, and go with the one that excites you the most, that thrills you the most. You mentioned your age right away. Even mentioning your age is a limitation. You're limiting yourself because of your age. I don't want to start something new. Okay, interesting. You could start something brand new tomorrow and make 4 times more money than you ever made, have 4 times the impact that you've ever made, and literally look back at age 53 and be like, wow, look what I just did. And you do it for as long as you want to do it. And if you are really in alignment with it, you could maybe even retire whenever you feel like it. Retire early, maybe 56. No. So the thing of it is when you are in alignment with something that you love and you're living your passion and your purpose, you're never going to want to retire, because it's
no, I don't want to retire. I want to do something for the next 30 years. But the thing is, everything gets me excited. I've got 3 big things that everything gets me so excited. It's like, how do I choose which one to go for first? But
which one would you like to do first? That's the thing, because you can do all 3, but which one would you like to do first? What I find gets a little bit confusing for people is when you're trying to take on too much. Neville Goddard talks about focused attention and how important focused attention is. So decide which one you're going to do first, be focused on that one thing, grow it up, and then add a second, add a different path. So for me, I started selling 1 course. I was focused on 1 program only. I did that for about a year. Then it was like, okay, now I'm ready to add a second. So once I was really successful in the 1 program, then I added a second program, and then the programs just build over time and the way that I do things. So it's just, which one would you love to do first? Which one excites you the most? Which one do you see yourself doing? And your imagination is the best place to experience it. Your imagination is going to tell you what you want to do. If you're not as excited in your imagination, then just wait and do the other thing.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
So, Christina, what I'm hearing is you have this thing going of like, oh, I'm worried I'm going to get it wrong. Like you're afraid you're going to make the wrong choice. That will block you completely from receiving what the right choice is. So you have to let go of what if I get it wrong? Because you can't get it wrong. If you pick an avenue that is like maybe not the one that you ultimately end up doing, you're still going to learn in that process. It's not going to be like time wasted. Yeah. It feels to me like you're worried about wasting time on picking the wrong one. So let me stand still until it becomes more clear. But standing still is not the way you figure out which one you're supposed to be doing. You dive into one, doesn't matter which one. Wow. And you course correct as you go. You can always pivot and change course as you go.
Yeah, but you picked up on something, Tommy, and thank you for that's great. But here's the thing: when I quit my nursing job, I ended up trying to do an import-export business from South Africa, and I went into PPE. That happened to be the same time that COVID started. That thing didn't do well, but I learned invaluable lessons by all the mistakes I've done. Yeah. It was actually amazing. Yeah. But now I'm helping out. I'm also working with a street artist from South Africa, and that's my Instagram thing that I'm doing. And I'm doing it because I want to help the artist, but that's not really what I want to do.
Oh,
that's what I felt is like, am I wasting my time trying to sell my African art but it's more to help Simba out, the street artist. or do I go for my dream, what I want to do,
Go for your dream, hun.
Your dream, hands down.
and not
We-
wasting time on what I'm doing at the moment?
If
We
you're
are,
not loving it, if it's not for you, don't do it.
Do
and
it for
we
somebody
are,
else.
we're people pleasers. We want to help people. But listen, the way, if you tap into what your vision is of actually helping people through this material, you're going to help way more people than the one artist you're helping right now. But your attention is over on this one person.
Yeah.
Move it over.
Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
Well, and if you're like, I want to, I still like want to help him. Maybe you help him an hour a week.
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great
Okay. Good.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Christina.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, we've got Marie next. Hey, Marie. Oops. There we go.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. I have a question.
Fire away.
How do you let go of the burdens of having to take care of another? Like, I take care of my husband. And so it's like you want to do all these things for yourself, but you have this like, I don't say it's fear. It's not even fear or worry. It's just a burden of, okay, as I take these leaps, as I do these things, as I rise to my greatness, how do I, make sure that I'm doing the right thing that's bringing us both along in that journey when they used to be able to visualize and see it with you, but now they can't. And, how do you do it? Because that's where I'm having my biggest, that's what's holding me back. That's where my boundary is.
Yeah, I think I can feel Angie's energy here. Yeah, I know she wants to say something.
Mine's bubbling too. Just saying. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Angie, go ahead. I can feel you. You answer.
This is such a beautiful question, Marie. I love that you're asking it. And one of the things that I learned is I grew up in service, absolute service. So my husband and I were pastors.
Same.
My whole life has been that. Yeah. And that's all I knew until one day, it doesn't matter, but at one point, both my parents passed away and my kids were leaving home. And I was so depressed. I walked out of my business that I had had for several years. And I was sitting there going, if I'm not a daughter, if I'm not a mother, if I'm not a business owner, who am I? Who am I? And that was the moment that I made a decision who I'm going to be. And I started studying the natural laws of the universe. But anyhow, one of the biggest laws for me was learning everyone has a cause and effect. Everyone does. And being somebody who's been in service, I mixed up being in service and paying attention to other people's cause and effect. And so there had to be a point where I walked away and said, is this my cause and effect, or is this yours? Everyone has their own cause and effect. And what happens is we sometimes take on other people's and we put ours on the back burner. Now that's going to sound very harsh right now. I get it, because the habit is helping, right? But what it does is when you help other people, you aren't really helping them because you're not really showing up as you. And when you start learning and understanding who you are, people will begin to figure out their own cause and effect. Now, this is going to sound way out the door for a lot of us, but trust me, every person came here with a purpose, and everybody has their own cause and effect. And so go to what you would love doing. Now, you might be programmed to think, well, this is what I love doing. Okay. If it is, then do you find fulfillment in it? And just like you were saying, I want to go further, but it feels like there's a gap. I've been married for 32 years. I have 3 adult children. Trust me, they are so happy I found my own life because I found my own life and I live the life that I want to live. And it took me falling in love with me. It took each of us, who've been doing this work, learning to fall in love with yourself. And it feels selfish. It's been deemed as selfish. But what would happen if it wasn't selfish? What would happen if greatness came out? And what would happen if you helped so many people? Because really, we're all here to find our way and help. That's why we're all here. We really are. Every person I talk to says, I'll ask them, what do you want to do? Well, I love helping people. Really, it's a reflection back. I want to help myself. I want to get further along in life, and I'm a little bit stuck. So to find a way for yourself to say, what would I love? Start asking yourself that question, what would I love? And start finding your own cause and effect. And I will tell you, your family, your friends, everyone will thank you for it.
Thank
Makes
you.
sense? Yeah, you're welcome. Kathleen, do you got anything else to add to it?
I just, for me, in caring for others, I've always come from this place where in order for me to do my best job of caring for others, I need to be my best self. I need to make sure I'm taking care of myself. And, you know, you don't have to care for them in the way that you see in this moment too. So I think about Angie, even like this resonates with her. And I hope you don't mind me saying, but her father-in-law's moved in with them and he requires assistance. And a past version of Angie, I'm sure, would have likely been the one actually providing the assistance and the help. But because of the life that she's built, she has the opportunity to hire some help, if so to speak, if that's what's possible. And so what ends up happening there is that you and your husband can maintain a little bit more of your relationship because you aren't his caregiver, but you're his wife, you know? And so for me, it's about, I'm going to do this for me so that I can help you in a different way. And I'm not turning my back on you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not taking my focus away. I'm still here. I'm still the same person, but I'm going to change our lives. And that's exactly what I thought about my family when I first started this journey, is I'm going to change our friggin' lives. Yeah. And that's what happened. But there's an energy. And I've heard the word burden too, Marie, when you talk about that. And I just want you to think about, I don't think that anybody, like I hear this all the time from my grandmother. I never want to go in a nursing home because I never want to be a burden. You know, we talk about that all the time. What if it's not a burden at all? Like, what if it's a joy? And all I'm saying there is a simple shift in how you perceive something changes the entire experience of it. So change the language. Like, how can I be more joyful around this today? How can I be more grateful around this today? How can I shift it in this way? You know, and oftentimes, you know, if we were to take on my grandmother and look after her, we would never, ever want it to be a burden for her. She would never want anybody to be burdened. And so if it's not a burden to us and it's not a burden to her, then it's a joyful exchange of energy helping each other in our family. And so I'll just say that sometimes the language shows us where the feeling is. So anyway, you change the feeling.
Thank you so, so much.
Thanks, Marie. Okay, awesome. Let's go on to, well, I want to back up really quick. Carolina, we'll come right over to you next. I want to read this question that David put in earlier. He says, how can I act like a coach if I feel my life is a wreck? I would feel like such a fraud with nothing to really offer. Someone could say, show me your results. Why should I listen to you? I would have nothing to show them. What do I, as an ordinary person, have to offer anyone? Or does it really come down to learning how to achieve a goal and then teach others how you did it? Is that it? I'm confused.
Oh, this is so fun. This is so fun. There is this thing in the coaching industry right now, and I experience it on a daily basis. And I experience it from the opposite way. So people think because somebody achieves success makes them a good coach. Interesting. Just because somebody made a lot of money doesn't make them a good coach. And are they actually coaching? Are they mentoring? What's the difference between coaching and mentoring? Also, is it possible that someone is in fact a teacher versus a coach or a mentor? So historically, we believe that someone must do before they coach, right? But the thing of it is that we're not asking you if you want to be a coach. So if you want to step alongside someone and help coach them through life, guide them through life. So they ask you questions, they reach a struggle, you're there to help them get back on track. Why do you need to have achieved success in your life to help somebody stay on their course? Why do we need that? And then mentorship is different, because mentorship isn't necessarily keeping people on course, but it's helping people elevate. And so mentorship is, yeah, you've elevated in your consciousness only, not in your social status, in the amount of power, external power you have, money, but you've elevated in your consciousness, and other people want to sync up to you and elevate to you. This is where I see mentorship is growth in you first, and other people then following. I had a conversation with a coach once on Zoom, and I said to her, I need to continue to expand and grow and elevate myself, because the moment I stop is the moment the people that I mentor stop. They can only go as far as their mentor's willing to go. And she said to me, oh, I don't care if my clients make more money than me. I don't need to make more money. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about success. I'm talking about my own growth, my awareness, my consciousness. And so we get a little bit tripped up. But what I would say is your biggest limitation in that question alone is that you see your life as being a wreck. I want you to see your life for the beautiful masterpiece that it is. You're in this moment on this Zoom call for a reason, because you're supposed to be doing big things. You're supposed to be helping people. You're supposed to be coaching people. But because you don't see how beautiful your garden is, you're not going to be able to teach other people how to have a beautiful garden. It doesn't mean you need to have a successful garden, but you need to see the beauty that is within yourself, and then decide in what way you want to help people. Do you want to be the light? Do you want to be the coach? Do you want to be the teacher? Do you want to be the mentor? Do you want to be all of the above? Do you want to inspire? And then step into that version. And then guess what happens? You attract all the people that you're meant to help. But because of what you see today in your life, those people are not being attracted. So all you have to do is shift what's going on with it. What a great question. Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Okay, Carolina. Hello. Oops. There we go. We're having a Russian roulette on the mute button. There we go. Go ahead.
Yes. Hello, everyone, and best warm regards from Poland. So I'm happy to have a chance to ask a question. Actually, this might be a very basic question, but my question is how to find out what actually we love to do. And actually, this is something what Kathleen has mentioned shortly before, but I really would like to find out where is my purpose? What should I do actually?
Oh, there we go.
I have started to do I have.
Oops, we lost your sound. There we go.
Is it now? Yes.
I think the mic was just covered. Continue.
Yes, I just wanted to ask how to find out these things what we love to do, just to find 100% fulfillment in our purpose. How to find a purpose, because I have initiated to some works to develop my business, but my question was whether this is really the right business I should do, and how really dive deep in this purpose, how to find it.
Okay.
For me, honestly, it came to me as a moment of, I would love to do that. It was that simple. I would love to do that. And now people say that to me all the time. I would love to do what you do. And the reason they would love to do what I do is not because of the financial aspect of what I do. It's often the impact that I'm making, the testimonials, the transformations, the interviews we have here, the desire to do something that changes people's lives like this. And so it's just listening to your intuition and your nudges. If there is something that you're not sure you want to do it, it's not it. Like, if it's not, tell me, what was that thing you sent me? If it's not a like F yes.
If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
Yeah. Like, like it was like, I would love to do that.
I have a question for you though, Kathleen.
Yeah.
Was it like a burning desire at first, or was it subtle?
No. It was a subtle little.
Yes.
I would love to do that.
It's not going to hit you like a bolt of lightning.
No.
It's going to be really subtle.
It was like, I'd love to do that. And then, okay, so what would it be like if I did? And there was a moment in time where I kept my past business and did this overlapping one another, because I was like, well, what if the coaching business doesn't work like I had hoped? I want to keep this in my back pocket. But I still knew the coaching business, between the two of them, I knew the coaching business is what I would prefer. So if you could make $10 million doing X, which would you want to do? And so sometimes it's about looking at the different options. Your imagination is the best place for this, honestly.
Can I add to this?
Yes.
I think people, when you don't know what your purpose is, when you don't know what you want, it's because you're not trying things. Like, you have to like get moving and start just trying things and just investigate things. Like, even if you're not actually out, like, investing money, or, I'm not saying like, go invest money in a bunch of different things. I'm saying like entertain the idea, like as if it's going to be real, like assume the feeling of one thing that you want to maybe try for like a week, and just walk around with that in your mind of doing, I'm going to do this thing, and how does that feel? But I think the main thing is people that they don't know what their purpose is. They're standing still, looking around, like, attending things like this and not really doing much, yet with it. You have to get moving. And in the moving, you'll get more clues as you're walking around kind of trying to find it. And your purpose finds you. So, it can't find you if you're standing like still. Angie, were you going to say something? You're muted, love, Angie.
I love that you made the difference here. I think people think they're going to be hit by a bolt of lightning, but what happens is it's a subtle, your soul trying to get your attention. It did when you were younger, but it's just been in the habit of putting it to the side. And I think when you start noticing what you're noticing and saying, okay, I don't know what it looks like, but I'm willing to walk through it. And it's the walking through it is where the unfolding happens. Mm-hmm. And what happens is I call it our smarty pants brain, but our smarty pants brain gets in and then it starts shutting it down. And if you really start going into your heart, you'll go, that's interesting. That's a new feeling. I kind of like it. It's subtle. Listen, your soul is quiet. The noise outside is really loud. So as soon as you feel something and it's like you shut it down, that's not you. That's not you thinking. That's you replaying information. When your heart tugs a little bit and you feel the tug, I kind of like that. That is the moment. That's the moment. And I will tell you, every time I feel that tug in the whirlwind of everyone telling me no, that's when I know, oh, this is going to be good. When everyone's saying, you can't do this, it won't work, blah, blah, blah. That's when I say, oh, this is so good. Because I know I'm listening to my spirit. I know I'm listening to my soul. And you don't go to bed with her. Only I do. Only I get to go to bed with her. And I like her and I want to bring her out more. And what is she like? Because I've done what everyone else likes and it made me stuck. And when I finally started saying, what would I like? That's when, yeah. Anyway, I love that you made the distinction. And I love that Kathleen said, oh no, it was subtle.
Yes.
It was so subtle. And then the other piece too, is that sometimes what'll happen is Angie calls it smarty pants brain, but I call it the intellectual mind, will come in and will say, well, this woman does it and does it so well, and she's good at it, so I shouldn't. No. Okay, spirit does not work that way. Spirit is saying, you're good at this. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. Here you go, here you go, here you go. And choosing what that thing is. That's what I mean by being chosen. And so, don't ignore it. Don't hide it. Don't get confused. Don't do pros and cons. Will it work? Won't it work? It's going to work because it's what you want to do, because it's coming through you. Anyways, we've got to go on to the interview. We're about 10 minutes late on this, but what a good question. What a good question.
So good. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll come back around to questions later if we've got time. So we're going to get into this interview now. So let's get Kathleen up here. Brian and Danny, hello. There we go.
Oh, look at you.
Good morning.
Too. Good morning. How are you?
We're great.
We're awesome. How are you guys?
Good. We're talking a lot about stepping into your purpose and doing what you're chosen to do, what you're called to do. And I think having you two on here is really beautiful. Can you guys let everybody know how many children you have?
Lots. Go ahead, babe. Let's take it.
We have 4 kids. Our youngest is 4 and our oldest is 13. And then we have 7 and almost 10 in the middle of that. So yes,
busy.
It's so busy. But what I love so much about that, though, and the reason that I asked that like this is because everybody has things in their life that keep them busy, that they have to focus on, people to take care of, other businesses, other responsibilities. But they only become a limitation or hold us back if we allow it. So we truly can do things in an effortless way. But anyway, that's a little side note. I wanted to bring you guys on. I'll just have you guys maybe let everybody know, where are you guys at in terms of your business right now? How do you identify what you guys do and in the way that you do it together? I would love for you to let people know that.
Sure. You want to start, baby, or you want me to start?
You start.
It's a long story. We'll keep it short. But first of all, I just want to say, Kathleen, thank you so much for the opportunity for us to share this morning. Those of you who are a part of the last couple of days, I'm sure you've been absolutely blessed by all that's been shared. And so we're just excited about where each and every one of you are at, but more importantly, where you're going. And you're in the right spot. Kathleen has been a huge blessing in our life the last couple of months, but we're excited to be here. And so as far as our story goes, I mean, where should I start? There's so many different components.
What do we do now?
What do we do now? Well, we have a social media training company. I've been a social media coach for the last 6-7 years. I've kind of been the face of what we do, and Danny has done a lot of the behind the scenes. But what we've realized over the last couple of months is the incredible gifts and talents that Danny has always had. And we've brought that more to the surface over the last couple of months. And we actually put together something as of last couple of months where we could do something together. And, we've done projects here and there, in-person events, 90-day little virtual events together. And we've always, heard from those who have been a part of it, how impactful it was for them, for the two of us to do something together. With Danny talking about the alignment and the abundance portion, purpose, passion, and me talking about the tactical social media stuff of building a business online, and just kind of like a perfect combination. And so this is what we currently do now. And we've just been super, super blessed.
Yeah. What I love so much about what you guys have done is you've really brought together the masculine and the feminine energies, the spirit and the mechanical. So Brian's being a bit modest here, but Brian is a very well-known teacher and trainer in the network marketing industry and also has a book. Maybe we want to put his book into the chat and promote that a little bit, Tommy. And now with Danny coming in and being a part of that, it brings in more of the manifestation side, the spiritual side, the connection side, the feminine energy side. And this is like they're answering the call for what is needed in this world in this moment. And so that's what I love so much about the two of you coming together. But the biggest thing that I've noticed since I've been working with the two of you is just how much your vision has grown and expanded. I love to see this. And I love to see your posts about what you're doing and what's on its way and what's happening and the legacy that you're building. So what has helped you guys to be so sure of your path and your purpose and to create this vision now? What do you think has helped that?
Yeah. So gosh, we've been doing this for what? I think we've been trying to figure it out. It's like 8 years.
Yeah.
Because it's so funny. You guys were just talking about it being a subtle thing right? And like, that's how it was for us. It wasn't like one day we were like, okay, now we're doing this. It was such a like flow into it that sometimes it's actually hard to pinpoint where like one thing ended and one thing began.
Yeah.
And really even I feel like it still is like that. So we started off all tactical, all social media. I helped with a lot of the organizational stuff in the background, and we hit all of our goals within like a few years. We hit all of the goals we wanted to hit. And I would even say we surpassed those goals, but we've really been in that same place for the past few years and just like, man, how do we push through this? Like we've repeated the same thing over and over and over again. And one of the things we've always tried to figure out is like, how do we marry Brian's passions with what I love to do? Because they're actually very, very different. And we've never quite been able to figure that out. But a few years ago, I actually, and it's funny because a lot of our clients don't even really know a whole lot about exactly what it is that I do. But a few years ago, I got like 2 different certifications in Reiki. I started doing a lot of spiritual and intuitive training. And I got really good at looking at what someone is, where they're currently at and where they want to be, and being like, okay, well, this is what's missing. I'm really good at that, helping them pull out what it is that they're envisioning and what they want to embody. So it's funny because I would help Brian do that. And anytime we were like struggling, I would do that for us. And we just started being like, oh my gosh, what if we put this together and we did exactly what I've done and what you've done, and we can do that. And it's funny because we were at that point where we were like starting to look for someone as a coach. And all along we kept looking for a tactical trainer. We actually were looking for like a very business-minded coach, someone who could look at our business and say, here's where you're at. Let's implement this, and this, and let's do that. That's what we kept looking for. And you like fell into our lap. It's so funny. And I knew right away, I was like, this is who we're hiring. Like immediately I was like, this Kathleen came into our life for a reason. And it was so needed because right off the bat, I remember our very first conversation before we even hired you. And it was about our vision and what we wanted. And I remember our answers were one thing and you were like, why? Like, why so small compared to where you're at and what you've done? Why not do this? And we were like, yeah, why not? And it took us a couple weeks to really like kind of work through that a little bit, I guess, and be comfortable with saying like, okay, it's okay to want those things. And that's like, I would say really where that transition began, was right there, because then we became okay with it. And we just started, I love when Angie always says, what would you love? What would you love? Like I have taken that, and that's been the number one thing. If I can ask myself anything any day, what would we love? And it's so much easier to answer any question when you ask yourself that, because if you don't love it, you're like, okay, well, that's not the right direction. Like that's obviously not where we should be going. And that's really helped us to, I don't know, I guess like really blow open the dam and the floodgates on what we actually want and what we would love for our lives and where we want to go next.
Yeah, I love that. And it is listening to the subtle nudges, because even the connection with Brian was very, very subtle at first. Even between us, I noticed that he was noticing some of my posts and things. And I was like, back when I was in network marketing, I knew Brian as a teacher and a trainer in network marketing. And I remember watching my uplines, having an interview with him and thinking, oh, that's so fun. That's so cool. And then he was noticing me and I was noticing him. And it was just like, we should connect. We don't know why, but we should connect, and then it became clear, but you had to make the connection. And so I think that's the pivotal part, is the taking action upon the subtle cues. The universe is saying, here you go. And then it's just continuing to listen to that. What I really, really love about the two of you too is that you want a business and you want a successful business. You want an extraordinary life, but the focus is on doing it in a way that is sustainable, that allows you to have joy, allows you to be present in the moment. And I know it's maybe easier a little bit for Danny than it is maybe for Brian at all times, but to step into the effortless way and doing things that bring you joy in the moment, but create a beautiful legacy for your family. So how are you doing with that, Brian?
I guess this is an opportunity to be transparent, right? Always.
Yeah.
I tell you what, just, always coming from a place of, this is how we do it. ABC, tactical mind. I'm a tactical learner, right? Visual, and I need step 1, step 2, step 3. And that's exactly how I teach, exactly how I coach. And so stepping into, visualizing more, manifesting gratitude each and every day, did it very minimally over the years, and now consistently every day has really, really allowed me to, I don't want to say step away from the tactical, because that's still how I teach, that's still how I train, but to start imagining even greater things. I think one of the biggest lessons, Kathleen, that I've learned from, just working with you the last couple of months is the way I used to think was like capped right here, right? And it's what probably had us in a position of just kind of cruising the last few years of, we've impacted lots of folks. That's cool. We're just going to coast now. And just conversations with you and some of our great coaching calls, I've started dreaming so much bigger. But it's not like dreaming so much bigger, Kathleen, to where now I have 100 more things on my plate. Danny and I have been using the words ease and flow a lot these last couple months. And so it's like we're dreaming 10 times bigger now. But it's not like we have 10 times the amount of weight on our shoulders. It's like, no. We're dreaming 10 times bigger, but it's with ease, it's with flow, it's with simple decisions. And it's been really, really helpful for me. I'm still a work in progress. I don't know if anybody else is, thinking bigger, but then they're like, oh, how do I do this and how do I do that? And it's bringing more stress and chaos. But it's like, no, it's all good. And I'm continuing to move forward.
All of us are a work in progress. We never stop growing and expanding. That is the key. And so, just as long as we're 1% better tomorrow than we were yesterday, then we're on that path of expansion. And that's what I love the most. I'm so excited for you guys. The impact that is about to happen in the subsequent years with what you guys are doing here. You allowing the limit to just be removed off of what's possible for you removes the limit that you have been placing on other people wanting to come and work with you. Your ability to be open to receive, to help more and more people has just been completely elevated. So this is what we were talking about here, is being chosen, and you're truly stepping into what the two of you have been chosen to do. And I believe this marriage now in business as well is something that has been called to you. I think you've listened, you've heard the nudges, and now you're creating something that really works for you, your life, while making the impact that you want, which is the best, which is so fun. Any last words for anybody on the call today that isn't quite sure about maybe entrepreneurship or being self-employed or creating a business in the mentorship space? What would you say that being digital entrepreneurs in a leadership role has done for you and your family?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
You want to go first? I'll let you go back.
I think it's so funny. Like the whole time you were talking, I just kept thinking, so I'm going to say it. There's a fine line between contentment and vision, right? Because when you're practicing gratitude and you're also wanting to have vision, you want to be grateful for what you have, and you want to have that contentment, right? With like, I'm very content with everything that I have, but that doesn't mean that you can't expand and have more and have a bigger vision. And that's one of the biggest lessons especially I have learned. And so much of our drive is our kids. We want to have control over our schedule. We want to have our kids see that you don't have to have limitations that are placed on you by other people, that it's completely up to you, truly. Because when we're little, people tell us all the time, you can be and do whatever you want, right? But then you get to be like 16, 17, 18, and they're like, no, you have to go to college, or you have to do this. And none of those things are wrong, but it might be wrong for you if you're making the wrong decision. So entrepreneurship was one of those things that honestly, it was something we always had a drive to do, but we really didn't have the fire lit until we had our first child. And, you know, people see us and they see this little plant and this nice white background behind us. But what you don't see is on the other side of our screen, 2 of our kids are laying on the couch watching TV right now. And they see everything we do. And that's a huge push for us and what we want. And it has nothing to do with, not that it doesn't have anything to do with money. This is how we make our income and it's how we make our living. But the reason we do it is because of the lifestyle we want to live, and the lifestyle that we want for our kids. And I would say that's a big driving force.
I think the word freedom gets thrown around a lot, Kathleen, especially in our space. But this is something we're truly living out. We can do what we want, when we want, with who we want, go where we want. It doesn't matter. And to just set this example, not only for our kids, not only for those around us. I'll be honest with you. We're sitting here on vacation in California at my mom's house for a couple of weeks before the kiddos go back to school. And most of our family members and friends, they still don't even know what we do, Kathleen. They have no idea, right? They're having to go off to work and do this, and this is all they talk about. And all they know is Brian and Danny can like pretty much do what they want when they want. And it's like, you know, it's just a really cool feeling. And we're super, super grateful. And we're thankful for you as well to allow us to shatter those ceilings that I guess were holding us in the same place the last couple of years. And we're just really, really excited for where we're headed.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The journey is worth it. The journey is worth it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think this, you know, having your own business and even if your business is within somebody else's business, you know, same type of thing. But it truly, truly does give you the freedom. And I don't feel like I've been chasing freedom for very long. I feel like as soon as I started studying this material, I realized all the ways that I was free today. And then more freedom came. So, you know, this is the biggest message is, you know, being grateful. Danny, you said it, be grateful for what you have now, but still wanting more. And, you know, you're not upset that you don't have the more now because you're happy with what you have, but removing the ceiling to allow more to come in. I just see it as being open to receive, you're removing resistance. And this is where you can truly step into your calling. So I love the energy you guys are showing up in. It's very, very powerful. People are feeling it. They're responding to it. And it's just such a beautiful thing to watch. So I'm so excited to be alongside you guys as you do it. Thank you for coming on here with us today during your vacation. Thank you. We appreciate it. And enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we'll be in touch soon.
Yes,
awesome. Thanks so much.
Kathleen.
Shout out to you, Tommy and Andrew as well. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Kathleen.
Thanks, Brian and Danny.
Maybe hang on for a couple minutes, Brian and Danny, if you want to watch this video that Tommy's team made. Oh my God, it's so good. You got to watch. Okay. Tommy, you want to play it?
Okay, yeah, with that said.
So do you want me to do a little intro for it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have had this nudge to do something a little bit different and to create a program that really, really elevates the mission that I have here. And so I know we don't have it anywhere publicly yet, but we have a mission here to help raise the global consciousness by improving individual consciousnesses one by one. And when I think about a way to help make an even bigger ripple on humanity and on the consciousness of everyone in the world is to have more and more people out there coaching and mentoring. So I've had a coach program in the past and it has been so beautiful and so lovely, but I'm different. What I believe in is different. And the way in which I want to do life and business is different. And I'm really starting to tap into now all of the gifts that I have so beautifully become aware of. And so this video is a little teaser about a new program that we are actually opening enrollment for today. So I'll leave it at that. My word, what a masterpiece. Holy, isn't that so good? Gosh, Tommy. And it's so interesting how things show up for you, just the synchronicities. I just so happened to be watching a video and heard a song that was powerful like that one. It wasn't this one. And I screen recorded it and sent it off to Tommy and said, we should do a little intro video, you know, and then we came together, he directed it. And that is what was birthed from that small little idea, like so powerful. So we're going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about this program. We're going to tell you what's in it, what it's about, how much it costs, when it starts, how it can help you. And we have some promotions around it, of course, because this is the first time we're launching it. Angie will be here to talk about it with me because she's been in this process with me. Angie has also built a 7-figure coaching business on her own as well. And so she has a lot of knowledge that we combined in this program. We also have a director of this program, Deb Lays, who is involved in this process. And the lessons came through me in an absolute effortless way. It was, and you know, some people try to rush me, and I can't be rushed, because as the lessons come through, I have to just allow it and wait for it to come in the way that it's supposed to come. And so it didn't come as quickly as I necessarily wanted this time, but when it came, it was like, boom, there it is. We got it. Like, this is so good. This is the best. So this program is specifically designed for people that are in the coaching or mentorship space. It is for people who want to become entrepreneurs in the digital space, or who are already in the space. So we've really designed this program to be for somebody who wants to start, or somebody who is already in the space but wants to elevate, expand, scale up. And so, you know, what I've talked about so many times on this chosen event is the importance of Marie, can you play it again, please? It's so important for you to tap into the manifestation principles first, then execute on the business principles. So I've decided this time for this program that I am going to teach it live. So my millionaire program is, I don't know how many lessons that is, but it's recorded. It's all recorded. There's a workbook. There's questions for every lesson. It's beautiful. It's professionally done. Tommy did it. And it is just amazing, amazing, amazing. But this one, I feel this overwhelming urge to teach it live. And so I will teach the 8 manifestation lessons first, and then I will teach the 8 business lessons. And I will talk about manifestation as it relates to business. And I will talk about the business stuff, obviously, as it relates to business. Now, I chose the word mentor instead of coach. The reason that I chose mentor is because coach, to me, identifies a task. You're coaching someone, you're coaching them through an issue, you're coaching them through a decision, you're coaching them through this. But a mentor is an energy you can tap into. A mentor makes you feel a certain kind of way. It has a certain level of influence. It has a certain level of, what's the word I'm looking for? Leadership. A mentor is someone that leads others, guides others, holds space for others. And so that's why I really want people to start identifying themselves as mentors instead of necessarily coaches. It's the same thing with the language of teachers. If you wanted to use that, you absolutely could. But for me, mentor was like next level. So that's why I wanted to use that word. Modern is really interesting because what I say all the time, not out loud to people, but when I talk about what's different about me in the way that I teach, is that I'm modernizing things. So I'm not creating new information. Not many people are. What's actually happening is it's the same information that's always been there that's coming through us in different ways. And so somebody might call it this and somebody might call it that and someone else calls it this and someone else calls it that, but we're all talking about the same thing. The reason why what I say and how I teach it is applicable and why people resonate is because of the way that I'm modernizing it, which means I'm bringing it into the present day where it is most relevant. So when I'm talking about with Danny and Brian about the way that they're bringing their business together and it's relevant for today, would 10 years ago it have made sense? I don't know. They were still so separate. But now there is so much synchronicity between the masculine and the feminine that it is the perfect time for them to come together and to amalgamate. So we are going to start the lessons on August 8th, I believe. I might not have the dates totally right, but I believe August 8th. We have a full orientation that everyone will go through. And so what this means is we're going to have a group of students coming through together now. So we are officially opening the doors today. It is the first time I've publicly spoken about it or talked about it. Those that were a part of my coach program are going to be coming onto the live calls for Modern Mentor. So they're all very, very excited that they have this opportunity. The other thing that's different about this program and the way that we run programs is that I truly believe in transformation. I don't want to just give you a bunch of information and you fill a notebook up and 3 weeks, 4 weeks go by and you're like, okay, I got to go reread that. I want you to be transforming week after week. And so what you'll notice about me and what I think is really important is that growth and transformation happens through the act of study. And so through this program, the lessons will be weekly. So we're going to be together for 16 weeks live. And the goal is that we get on, we get into the energy, we learn together, we grow. I'll give you the content for each of the lessons. And then for that week, that is your focus for the week. It gives you focused intention. It gives you things that you know to work on, to grow and to expand. And so when you come back a week later to that next lesson, you're different. Not the next day, we're not going to do lesson 2 the next day. The next week, you're different, and then you're different, and then you're different. So by the time we get to the business lessons, you have a foundation of connecting spiritually, intellectually, and then we can then take the action. The entire program is 6 months with us. And so what that means is for those 6 months, we have certain things and ways that we want to assist you. We've actually developed, and we'll be going a little bit deeper into it, some ways for us to be able to know what our impact is with you and your business. And so we have a director for the program that is going to be there to support you, who's going to run a weekly call as well. So you'll have Monday will be lesson with Kathleen, and then Wednesday we'll be meeting with Deb. And Deb is going to help in the embodiment of the lesson. This is key. This is what I mean. Like week after week, you're going to embody the lesson. It's going to be so incredibly powerful. And the goal of this entire program is to help people to create the life of their dreams through bettering themselves. And then making your purpose, being able to expand and do what you're meant to do, step into your calling, step into your chosen purpose. Now, if anybody's on here today and you're like, well, I don't want to be a coach. I'm not a coach. I don't want to be a coach. Then I would talk to somebody on the team about our Millionaire program. That is the perfect journey for you to study yourself, to step into that next level version of you in whatever your business is. So we will open that up for you all if that's something that you're interested in. But I'm just going to go into detail about Modern Mentor. So make sure you know you can ask any questions from anybody in the team anytime. We're always here to help. Angie, did I miss anything about the overall structure of the new program? Anything you wanted to add?
I do want to say that if you're somebody who has always wanted to do this and did not know a point of entrance to get in, that it's, you keep stopping yourself, this is the time to walk through it. You're going to walk through with Kathleen, and I'm going to be there as well as Tommy and Deb. Oh my gosh, you couldn't have anyone better than Deb. I'm telling you, I've been so impressed with her as she's come onto the team, and I've learned already a lot. But really, it's about bringing rising to the person that you've always wanted to be. And if you've needed that point of a runway, we're not here to do it for you. That is not what we're here to do. But you're going to get from this what you need, because success principles are spoken here. And this is where I believe with Kathleen and myself and Tommy and Deb, we've lived this material and we have had quantum leaps in our life. And people are always asking us this whole thing. I think why it came together so well is because these are questions that people ask all the time. And these are questions that don't get answered, because these are about, I think, soul questions that we're trying to figure out about ourselves. And we're trying to work in the mechanical instead of going to the source first. And so this is, I believe, why it came together so well. I honestly believe the universe is ready for people to step into this. I do believe we're going to start. I'm going to go way out here. Sorry. I do believe that we're having a shift in our world right now. I do believe that we're moving more into the spiritual or the feminine energy. I'm not talking about female energy. I'm talking about feminine mentalism, where we're expanding and doing things in a different and broader way. And I think this is why it came together so fast, because it's been needed to be expressed. And it's not, 3 steps to do this. It's not that. It's, you already know that. You're not expressing it. So it's a go within and now release the energy that's been trying to be released for a long time in you. Yeah. And it's finding the order. So that's all I had to say.
That's
it's beautiful.
So beautiful the way you just put that in. So some of the lessons, because your intellectual mind is going to ask me this. You're going to say, well, what are the lessons? Tell me. But you're already having a feeling of if this is something you want to do or not. There's already a feeling within you. So I love, who just said it? I want to take this program and I want to do it with you. Somebody just said that. Christine Fry. Beautiful. That's the nudge right there. I want to do this and I want to do it with you. You feel it. You don't even have to know what the lessons are. You don't even have to know how much it costs, blah, 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 blah. You just know. So then it's like, okay, the next steps then are, how can I move my physical body towards this? So let me tell you some of the lessons. I'm not going to tell you all 16, but a few of them, just so you can get an idea. So the first lesson that I'm going to talk about is the art of expansion. There is an art to this, and there is an art to being somebody who is always expanding no matter what, who is mentoring and leading themselves first. So we're going to do a lesson on that. Then the end result. So this is where we're going to actually tap in, and we're going to tap into the end result in all ways. Your ideal day, your ideal life, your ideal business, your ideal impact, everything. We're going to dig really deep. We're going to talk about identity. We're going to really, really talk about your dominant feeling and the importance of the energetics around business. Let me tell you, the old you is like, well, if my business numbers tell me this, then it means this. No, it does not. Okay, you're too much in the 3D world. Get back up in the clouds with me up in the 4D. So this is where we're going to hold ourselves in the 4th dimension as we build a business in the 3rd. This is huge. I'm also going to talk about the effortless way. And this is my interpretation of how to build a business in the effortless way. You heard Danny and Brian talk about this. It's not about hustle and grind. It's not about working more. It's about building something that is sustainable. There are a lot of coaches out there that are making a lot of money, but they're exhausted. They don't even have time in their calendar to reschedule a meeting. That's not the type of life or business that I want. So I'm going to teach you how to create a sustainable business for yourself. We're going to also talk about how you can live with neutrality in the circumstances. Okay, I'm going to stop there. That's the manifestation side. See how it's all about all these beautiful things. It's being in the spiritual, the intellectual. Then we're going to talk about some of the mechanical things. We're going to go into business planning and creating goals and like knowing what you want to do, the impact that you want to make month over month. We're going to talk about your offers and your pricing. This is where the more in alignment with what you sell, the easier it will be to sell it. The more in alignment you are with the type of person that you want to teach and coach and mentor is going to make that easier for you. So we're going to talk about that. Of course, social media. I've built my entire business on social media, and in a way that not a lot of people do. So there are some niches in the coaching industry that do things in a certain way. And we're really going to talk about what way works best for you. So if you want to be somebody that sells from social media directly, lower ticket offers, let's go. If you're somebody that wants to sell high ticket luxury offers, let's go. If you want to have a sales team and you want to do calls and that's the way you want to do it, okay, let's go. So we're going to talk about all the different ways, traditional marketing. Tommy is brilliant when it comes to media, marketing, YouTube. So we're really going to have his expertise in this program as well, which is really, really going to be good. I know that we maybe want to do things in a non-traditional way all the time, but you also have to think about the sustainability of your business. These are things like building your SEO and having a website and all that kind of stuff. The YouTube channel that we've built now is a long game plan. We know that. It's there for years to come. It's not something that we expect immediate results from today. We're going to talk about selling, of course, launching, of course, execution and service delivery, how to go from giving good service to great service, how to really, really enrich the experience of your clients. I'm really, really focused on this year. We actually have a client enrichment coach now with Diamond Academy that's full-time, that's there to support people, because how people leave us is the most important thing. We want people to leave us with an impression of increase, no matter what. And so many other things we're going to talk about in this program, but these are just some of the lessons. So what we've decided to do for this specific launch is that we are going to open enrollment and close it on a certain day before the orientation. If somebody can put the close date in the chat, because I don't know that. And what we've also decided to do as well is to have specific things that are going to come with this program for the people that join it in this cohort, in this group. So we absolutely want you to make a decision for you that is going to help you create the life of your dreams. But it's important you make the decision from the place of the completion of the goals. So if you're somebody that wants to build a $500,000 a year coaching business or mentorship business, what would that version of you do? Would they enroll in this program if they wanted to? If they felt aligned, if they felt called? Of course. And if they were able, would they pay in full? Of course. And we know that in this space, the action that you take is likely the action your clients will take. So this is why I pay in full for as many things as I possibly can, because energetically it sends a message out to the universe. And then it also sends a message out to my future students. And I find they'll do likely what you did. So does anybody know that close date? Deb is saying she thinks July 30th, but I'm not 100% positive on that. So we do have the painful bonus. And this is really fun. We've never done this before. We've never done a painful bonus. But I just thought, you know what? Energetically, what would be so fun? So the painful bonus is that you get to come, you get a ticket to our live event in Miami if you pay in full for this program in September. So then you join a program, you get started on it, you start building your business, and then you get to come into our energy in Miami and be in the room with us. You get a ticket to our live event. Not the hotel and the flights, but to our live event. So that's an incredible, incredible bonus. So that'll only be up until that close date as well. So the cost of this program is $15,000 USD for the pay in full. And then we have a payment plan for 4 months. Maybe somebody can put the landing page for the program in the chat. This course is 2 programs in one. It's a full manifestation course and a full business course put into one program. 6 months in our energy. The 2 programs, 2 live calls a week for 6 months. So this is very, very supportive. You've got Deb Lays there to support you. You've got the live calls with me. You've got Angie and Tommy coming onto calls. Once the 16 weeks is up, we go to a rotation of Deb once a week doing a call, and then me, Angie, and Tommy rotating. So beautiful. Angie focuses on sales. She is our director of sales here at Diamond Academy. Absolutely phenomenal when it comes to that area. Also universal laws. And I've already talked about Tommy and his incredibleness. So it's really, really important to understand just how much of an immersive experience we're creating here with this program. We are committed to transformations. We are not committed to you working with us for 6 months and leaving the same way that you came in. We want you to be changed. We want you to be transformed. So why don't we open up for a few questions in the chat about this program? I know there's a couple that came through. So I can answer that. If you're feeling called to do this and you're still in the millionaire program, there's no reason you can't start it. There's no reason you can't start both. Yeah, absolutely. You might just need to rearrange some calls a little bit, but you can absolutely do both. And we can work with you to help you figure out a schedule of which calls you're going to come on to when and in what way. So I wouldn't hold back. If this is what you want to do and a business that you really, really want to run, then I would absolutely do it. What time will the lives be?
Yeah. So Monday at noon Eastern and Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern are the set times right now. And they're all recorded. Yes, of course.
Yes. So what'll happen with the live calls, it will turn into a permanent program for you. So anybody that purchases the Modern Mentor, the lesson from that day will turn into the lesson that will go into our learning management system. And then you will access it there. So you can watch it as many times as you want. If you can't come in the lives, you'll have it for your own use then. Yeah, absolutely. There is some additional content too that we're going to move over, some bonus content. So there's some really great lessons I did in a past program that I really want to bring it over to the new. So, oh my God, that photo of you in the black 2-piece outfit. Ah, thanks, Maura. Love it. Yeah, Christina. Yep. You'll have lifetime access to the program. Yeah. It's 6 months on our live calls. And the reason that we've gone to 6 months is because I find if you have something for an entire year, there isn't a sense of urgency. It's kind of like, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And then next thing you know, the year's up. And it's like, oh, I didn't really get into it. I didn't really do it and feel it and be it. And so with 6 months, it's a 6-month commitment to yourself. And so I really, really see the transformations very, very different when we do a 6-month time frame in our energy. There's always opportunity to expand. So you can stay longer with us. Of course, there's different programs, different courses. We usually have some graduate structures in place that can allow you to stay onto the calls. But it's really, really up to you and how you feel. When you have lifetime access to our calls, you'll come and go. It's like, I'll come for a little while and I'll go away for a little while. I'll come back a little while. But when you're 6 months, it's like, let's do this thing. Let's stop. You know, the whole idea I talked about yesterday was like, now is the moment, not tomorrow. I love the idea of making the decision from our future self. And I said, so manifesting money is so interesting. It's such a beautiful topic because the money is there. It's always there. It's always possible. It's always available. And there is always a way. And so it's really about being open to align yourself to the receipt of it. So the best thing that I do is I write down on a piece of paper, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm in the Modern Mentor program. And maybe even want to say, and I paid in full. And so what you're doing at that point then is you're tapping into the energy. You're tapping into the feeling. You're like, okay, this is me. This is the version of me. And you're operating on that frequency. And then you got to start paying attention to the clues and asking, where is the money? Where can it be? Where can I find it? Where can it come from? Trust me, I invested in myself $50,000 to launch my coaching business. 10,000 for the first program and 42,000 Canadian for the second. And I had no income coming in and we figured it out. We borrowed it. So we were $50,000 in debt when I started my business. $20 million later, did I care about the 50? No. And listen, this is a business opportunity. This is different. This is truly making a decision that you are starting and launching a coaching business, or you're expanding one that you already have. You're doing a new shift. It's going to be a new you. It's a new energy. It's a new launch, however you want to say it, is so incredibly powerful. So truly a new decision from a new place, right? Yeah. Oh, you picked Crystal. Oh, girl, you're a decision maker. I love it. Paid in full too. Oh, girl. And you're coming to Miami already, aren't you?
And I got a private message from Leanne Monahan, paid in full. She's in. Congrats, Leanne.
So exciting. I am so excited. The majority of my private clients, my one-on-one clients, are coaches or mentors in the coaching space, not just coaching coaches. Like I have male coaches, I have female coaches, I have Danny and Brian that were on here. And so I'm really, really aligned with helping people to build a business that allows them to step into their own uniqueness, their own unique power, and build a business you love. You don't have to do it the way I do it. You don't have to do it the way she does it or he does it. But we're going to figure it out for you in a way that you do it, that allows you to build the life that you want to build. And so this is why I don't want you selling any of my programs. I don't want to give you a course to sell, because what you want is to sell what you want to sell. And any belief that says that you need a course to sell, it just comes from you not believing in what you have to offer and what you have to say and what you have to sell. I truly believe that. And so it's time for you to step into it. And it might not be a course. It might be a mastermind. You know, it might be some clinics. It might be group coaching. It might be one-on-one coaching. I mean, we're going to build this out and this is going to be such a blast. And you're going to do it with other people that are doing it. And this is why that is so incredibly important. The other two things that we're going to be doing too, which are going to be really fun, is Deb is going to run clinics. So Deb is going to run a identity clinic where you're literally going to come on and talk about identity and talk about your specific identity, how you can tap into it. And then she's also going to run a business planning clinic to help you set your goals, know your numbers, what are you going to do, and what way are you going to do it. But the focus is going to be spirit first in everything we do. So when you come to us with a mechanical question, we're going to back you up just a little bit. And we're going to say, okay, before we do this mechanical action, before we do this thing, I want to know your assumptions, your beliefs behind it, how you're feeling about it first. This is really important. Deb's the perfect person to do that with you too, because she's been through my courses. She's done her own study. She is truly an embodiment of this material and a professional adult teacher and trainer. Oh, brilliant. Anyway, we have such a brilliant team. So what I'm going to say is, if you are somebody that knows, you can click the link and you can enroll and you can join us. But if you're somebody that needs a little bit more information, you want to talk it through, you want to ask questions, you want to know a little bit more of the details and what this means, you can speak to anybody at our team. So I would the best way for us to manage this, to be quite honest, is to just put info in this chat. So if you want some more information, you want to talk to somebody, you want to play around with this idea a little bit, just put info in the chat. And then we will make sure that somebody does connect with you. If your Zoom name isn't you, if it says iPhone or just your first name or anything like that, just let us, like MK. That might be a little hard for us to get back at you. So, well, we probably know who MK is, I'm sure, but just put your full name, put info and then your full name or your email or something like that. Like Marcel, I'm sure we could find you. Martha, we can find you. Oh, Fifi, it's so good to see you on here again. Fifi, oh, my heart. Yeah, beautiful. We're 12 o'clock. Any last minute words, Angie, before we close up? Any last minute words?
You got to know when your soul is speaking to you. You got to know. You got to know and you got to walk through it. And on the other side is where your life today can be the day. I know the day I made the decision, February 26th. I will never forget the day that I said I want a different life.
Oh, I remember my day. Absolutely. It was like August 28th. Okay, let's play this video one last time. We are going to log off. We're here to support you. So just let us know, reach out, and play around with the idea. What if? What would it be like? All right. Appreciate you all so much.